Hello everyone! I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am to be talking about this. The Eras Tour has started up again in Paris, and it is the first shows since the Tortured Poets Department release era, and with that has come so many changes to the original Eras Tour lineup. The Eras Tour feels completely brand new. I feel like I am watching all of the updates for the Eras Tour like this is a completely new show. This has just been the most exciting couple of days ever, maybe. I'm wearing my Tortured Poets Department cardigan! I am so excited! So I've been watching all of the updates since the first shows. Now the shows are live at like 4 a.m. for me, so there's just no way that I'm going to be watching it live. However, I'm normally awake by the time the surprise songs come around, so I normally can start the live stream just as I wake up to start working, so thank you. There have been so many changes, new costumes, reduced eras, but there's also a whole new era that we get to enjoy, the Tortured Poets Department era. Oh my gosh, guys. So I thought it would be fun today to watch the Tortured Poets Department set of the Eras Tour and just react to it and see what we think of it. I've already seen a lot of clips, but I haven't seen the whole thing in its entirety, so I thought that we would do that together. But before we do that, we must have a moment of silence for those that were sacrificed to make this happen. Oh my god. It's been a huge loss. I do feel very privileged to have seen kind of the original lineup, obviously bar Invisible String, which also is cut, but technically it was already cut before Tortured Poets, so I'm not really calling it a loss for this necessarily. So we're going to be watching this from fan cams because obviously there isn't a professional production release for us to look at yet. However, we do know that these Paris shows are being filmed. There's a huge sign that shows up for the attendees to let them know that they are being recorded. So I'm predicting that we're either going to get what I have always hoped in that we're going to get a making of the Eras Tour documentary, which is where the Tortured Poets Department could feature in a visual sense, or more likely, I think that we're going to get an Eras Tour live album. We'll eventually see it in better quality then in whatever capacity those recordings are coming out in, but for now, we're watching fan cams. So the introductory section of the Tortured Poets Department is very visually similar to Fortnight. I'm sure that they couldn't really do too much, giving away too much with that intro while there's only Fortnight available to us to look at. I know that that would be cheeky. I don't think I saw anything in this that made me think of any Easter eggs, but I'm sure that there's more intelligent people out there that saw this and went, oh my god. So if anyone saw anything that was a glaring Easter egg, please let me know. But to me, it was definitely giving the Fortnite music video visuals, which I thought was so fun. It's very haunting. It's kind of like Reputation in its kind of haunting nature, where the other ones are kind of more exciting. Evermore, I would say, is also a little bit haunting. I thought it fit really well, at least from the aesthetics that we know. The fun part about this is because we've only got the Fortnite music video to go on for aesthetics, and then of course the photos and stuff from the photo shoot, we don't know what other visuals she's going to be playing with for this era. So this live performance is really giving us some insight into what visuals we might be expecting from new singles, music videos to come out from her. So this is so exciting. The first song that we get for the Tortured Poets Department set is But Daddy, I Love Him. One of my absolute favorite songs from the album. It was like an instant hit. I think you can see in my reaction video that I was really loving on this track. I'd really love to give an update on where I'm at with all of the songs now that I've had the album for a while. And yes, I've barely listened to anything other than this album since it came out. There's a lot to digest about it. So if you'd like to see a kind of updated ranking of the songs, please let me know, because I'd definitely love to do that for you. But just as a preview for that video, I'd say that But Daddy I Love Him is definitely in my top 5 songs on this album. Like I love this song so much. This performance was so magical. It had a kind of childlike purity, innocence vibe to the way that she sang it. I have to say I am so relieved and thankful that Taylor removed the first verse that said the Sarah's and Hannah's line. I promised you, Taylor, I would never say a bad thing about you. Thank you so much for your mercy. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I can watch the tour unscathed. She runs around the stage and it's giving such... It is just so... I can't. It's so perfectly performed. Like I said, it shows that childlike wonder, that childlike naivety, which is really, it's just performed so well. I also really love the bridge part of the song. It's performed with the risers. Taylor is sitting right in the middle and the dancers are all leveled up next to her. And down on the stage, it's showing like church windows. All of the dancers are like looking at her while she sings a verse, which is quite confessional, which is so good. Like that is so good based on what we know from the song, the lyrics, what we know about the story, what she's trying to convey. This is really perfectly performed. You can really tell the story of this song through this performance. It's so well done. I also love her like stomping around the stage. It's really giving Fearless. Like if you think back to the Fearless tour and then think back to Fearless on the Eras tour, it's really highlighting that kind of defiant energy, petulant child energy like she describes. It's very, very, very well done. And then we get a beautiful transition into So High School. So High School is getting the kind of Wildest Dreams Bad Blood treatment, where we're getting a very shortened version of this song. Her and the dancers are all sitting on the risers and it makes it look like bleachers. They're all there to watch the big game. She's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers. It's that. It's so nice to think that, you know, a year ago, some big guy came and gave her a bracelet, and now a year later, there's a song about him on the tour that all happened. Also, I love that I just called Travis Kelce some big guy, like he isn't a big deal himself. I also really can't believe that she sang Touch Me While Your Boys Play Grand Theft Auto to a whole stadium of people, but it's the only song from the anthology that's on the set list, which is really interesting. I wonder what that means. Does that mean that potentially we're going to get a So High School music video? Something to think about. After we finish off with So High School, we get a dream of a performance in Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. That first night that I woke up after the first show, seeing the clips from the show, my whole timeline was filled with Who's Afraid of Little Old Me clips. Now, this song is definitely another song that's in my top 5 of the whole album. So I'm extremely excited to be seeing this on the set list for Tortured Poets. It was also one of the songs that I was really hoping that if she did add a Tortured Poets set, that this song would be on there. So really, this is a dream performance for me. The way that this is performed is so haunting. The back of the stage has a like old kind of Victorian house. I guess it could be a madhouse, the way that she describes things like that in the song. And in the chorus, the platform that she's standing on raises when she sings, "And so I leave from the gallows and I levitate down your street." What's really cool about that platform that she rises up in is that the edges, like the edge of each of the platform's sides, are mirrored. From, like I said, a visual storytelling point of view, this is so incredible. Like, there are lyrics in the song that allude to the reason that she is the way that she is because of the eyes that have been on her, whether that's the public perception of her, the media, you know, management's opinions of her, has all led to her being where she is today and has led to her feeling a certain way about the way that she's perceived. It's like being at a circus where everyone's pointing and laughing at the things that are happening on stage, and then you put like a mirror in front of you so you can see how it feels to be doing what you're doing to her. That's what I get from that mirror on the platforms. Like, it's like, now you get to see what you look like when you're doing what you're doing to me. So you can see what's making her angry, what's producing the female rage, as she has been calling it on this tour.
Or as I like to call it, Female Rage the Musical.
I'm so impressed. Being impressed doesn't stop there, because that platform doesn't just come up and show a mirror on the sides. It moves around motorized on its own. It is from like a stage, things that I expect to see on a stage. That is something I don't think I've ever seen before, and maybe I've just not seen a lot of concerts. I've never seen a platform raise up from the stage that's not been static. It moves around on its own. It's obviously on a motor that has I've done robotics before. I know how this shit works. It's obviously got a track for where they want it to move, because the dancers all know how to move around it and things, but it just flies down the stage and it moves around the stage with her. She's like, you know, reaching out to the dancers like a witch is like kind of instructing them, moving them around the stage with her. It's the performance is so... I feel like I'm going to have a lot to talk about with this song, and I don't want to like plague this video with too much of my thoughts about Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. I would really like to do a deep dive about this song at a later stage, and I think that a lot of this performance is going to come into explaining part of that. So if you'd like to see a deep dive of that song, if you really like that song and you want to kind of get down in the weeds with me about it, let me know, because I definitely would like to do something like that. I love how she performs this song. It's so angry. It's very Mad Woman kind of coded. I was very moved by this performance. It was just so good. Now, unfortunately, the video that I was watching to react to this didn't have the next song in it. I'm just going to show you what happens in that part of the Tortured Poets set. So the next song up is Down Bad. Now, she's sitting on that platform still. The coolest part about this performance is that there is a UFO or spaceship that is on the back screen, and then a light is shining on her as she moves around the stage again on that platform. It is so beautiful. There are stars on the stage and they reflect onto that mirror of the platform. It's very celestial and it's very beautiful. And the transition to the next song, Fortnight, is so good. I love the visuals for Down Bad. I think it's performed so well. It's so exciting getting that tease into the next song. I really can't be more impressed. We had Fortnight being sung over the music to Down Bad. Which was really interesting. What I didn't think was going to happen was having Fortnight in the set list. Now, I know that kind of seems silly because Fortnight is the lead single, and she would have known that this was going to be the lead single well before they planned the tour portion of this. It's kind of slow, which is what made me think that it might not be in there, but it's slow in the way that Midnight Rain is slow. It's not necessarily a sad sounding song. It's just slow. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but the way that it is performed, I'm actually blown away by it. Like, she has the dancers come out being the scientists that are in the music video, coming to do tests on her, and the doctors and things like that. And we see the Tortured Poets Department bed frame that we saw in that sneak peek YouTube short that she posted right after the music video came out. Her and one of the dancers are typing on typewriters on top of the bed that is Tortured Poets Department. And the dancers are just stunning in this. Like, this performance is just... it's so good. If Who's Afraid of Little Old Me wasn't in there, this probably would have been my favorite performance, because it is so clever and it is so fun, and you can just... like, I feel like you can just look into her mind and be like... she's like, yeah, I'm fucking stunning you bitches right now. Like, she knows what she's doing to us. You can just feel it in the way that she's performing it. So yeah, really, really loved Fortnight. A bit sad that, you know, we're getting posty lyrics, but he's not performing. It is a bit of a shame. Wouldn't that have been so cool if he had been like a surprise guest? Like, actually, hey, Post Malone is coming to perform this with... Could you imagine? And at the end of Fortnight, the dancers give her a little marching jacket that looks just like the outfit that she wore in Me. We're getting Me representation in Tortured Poets Department. Let's fucking go right now. Oh my god. The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived is the next song that is played. I really like this song, right? I think I said this when I was reacting to it the first time that I really liked it. I loved the lyrics of it, but it was a little bit of a slower song. But I really did love the bridge like that. In 50 years, this will be declassified. All that part of the song is so beautiful. Like, I love that part of the song. But yeah, I never thought it would have been performed live in this capacity unless there had been a Tortured Poets Department concert rather than an Eras tour. But this is kind of flipped on its head in the way that, like, Love Story was flipped on its head in the 1989 tour. It was given a whole new identity. It has a really propelling marching beat with all of the dancers in marching uniforms with drums. It's really powerful watching her, like, angrily walk down the main bit of the stage and just scream these lyrics. I love the visuals for this. I love that she is shot in the middle of the performance and there's like a red light that bloods onto her to make it look like, you know, blood and stuff. Putting that there and having her like singing the rest of it on the floor. So she's been shot in the heart, right? And then guess which song is next? Hold up. I've got to talk about the transition to that song. So she's picked up by two of the dancers and brought over to a heart-shaped couch that is in two parts, making the heart. She's been shot in the heart. It's a broken heart. And as she is being revived by the dancers, she has the white dress that she wears, which I didn't even bring up, the white dress that she wears. Oh my god, it's the most beautiful. It's like a wedding gown and it's got lyrics written all over the dress. It is a piece of poetry as a wedding dress. We've got to talk about that at some point too, and they're reviving her. They're gearing her back up because she's got to go on stage. She's on stage. We need to bring her back. And they remove the wedding dress from her and she's standing in a two-piece black, and we've seen in the second performance white as well. Glittery little, very reminiscent of 1989 tour. And then they pop on a gold little jacket with long tails. They're like, go on, like you've got to go on. And she's like, no, I just can't. No, go on. And then she looks at the crowd and she's on. And the way she switches on so that she can, I can read your mind. Yes, the next song is I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. It's so beautiful the way they put it together. And while they're doing that kind of reviving her, they have a kind of show tunes kind of style to the song. It's feeling very much like The Lucky One. The Red Tour is really feeling alive in this moment, and it continues throughout the song of I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. They have all of the dancers with like little canes that they dance with and spin around on the stage, and then feather fans come out. It is very wow. Very wow. This song, I would say in particular, is the strongest for the visual storytelling element. I think what is so crazy about this song to me is that this song, as everyone kind of knows, is about the Eras tour. We know that because in the song they have the metronome part of a live performance. That 1, 2, 3, 4 in I Can Do It With a Broken Heart is from the metronome that people hear in their in-ears. So that's confirmed. Plus you hear like the start of the song is like a crowd screaming. We know that this is her performing at the Eras tour while she had a broken heart from everything that had happened with Righty Healy. And so knowing that that's what this is about and seeing her perform it at the Eras tour, even though it was a very strong chance that this song was going to be played, I was kind of fearful of it happening. Like, this was definitely the song that I was like, please don't perform this live because it's so sad. I said it during my initial reaction, but this song is like Bejeweled, where the theming of the song, the lyrics that are being sung are really sad, but the song is really happy and fun and bubbly. There's a dissonance between the lyrics and the sound. And the difference between this and Bejeweled is Bejeweled has an essence of like, I'm better now, like I'm growing from that, you know, yeah, she's shining and sparkling despite what has happened and maybe how she's felt and how she's not been put on the pedestal like she should have been, but she's going to go and put herself on that pedestal now. So it's kind of like she's overcome it. Whereas I Can Do It With a Broken Heart is still down, like you're angry, you feel betrayed. So this song is I find it very hard to listen to. I'm just so sad that she had to go through that. I know that she wanted to, obviously, which is why she did it. But it just makes me so sad to know that she was on stage performing when things were so bad for her that she just didn't want to get up anymore. And she still did it. And the way that this is performed very much tells that part of the story. Like, she's giving it and she's dancing around and the dancers are behind her. They make the feathers kind of look like wings behind her, which is very interesting. And the whole performance, is very like showgirl with the feathers and everything. Probably the most crazy part of this performance, for me anyway, is when the feathers that the dancers come around with, she starts singing about being sad and like, you're doing this even though it makes you want to die. The feathers come around her and then they open up to show her face and she like turns on, which is just like, I don't know, the start of the Lover set, the intro to the Eras tour with the fans that come up and reveal her. Do you remember that photo that was circling that looked like she was crying under there, but then she's revealed and she's smiling and happy? It just breaks my heart. I find this extremely difficult to watch. Not because it's bad. It is stunning. It is so beautiful. This is a very cathartic thing for her. She had said on the tour she had to bring this album out. And you definitely know she really did need to bring this album out. Like, it's like a diary. And she's just pouring the pages out for everyone to see. Oh my God, it really was stunning. It just is so heavy on my heart. But yeah, that's the Tortured Poets Department set. Now, of course, we're also seeing that in the surprise songs, she seems to be performing at least one song from the Tortured Poets Department in either the guitar or the piano. I think so far what I've seen is only on the piano, but I'm sure that that's going to change it up depending on which song she's playing. When I first listened to the album, I think I had guessed that Florida and Who's Afraid of Little Old Me were going to be singles and music videos for this album. And now, having seen the Tortured Poets Department era, I would say that Who's Afraid of Little Old Me seems pretty likely that it might become a music video. She seems to be putting all the songs that were turned into singles into the eras. We're seeing that with Midnights, we've got all of the singles in that portion of the show. And so I can only imagine that the songs that are on this tour have the highest chance of becoming singles. I had also thought that Florida was going to become one, but seeing as it's not on there, and maybe seeing as Florence is kind of a big part of that song, that's why it's not on the tour. I was also kind of hoping that Down Bad might become a music video. I do think that Down Bad has a very good chance of becoming a single, and I think that this performance really highlights what she would like to do to kind of present that song. I love the celestial imagery that we're seeing in this. She gets beamed up at the end of the set. Yeah, I think another good contender for music video that she might bring out is But Daddy I Love Him. Although I personally can't see how she might turn it into a music video because it is kind of giving childish, immature energy, even though the topic itself is very relatable and not immature in that kind of sense. But visually, I don't know how they would make this into a music video. But I've been wrong before. I also wonder which city I'm going to have beef with on the Eras tour when eventually she plays Guilty as Sin or I Hate It Here in the surprise songs. So govern yourselves accordingly. I will be having beef with you, whichever city it is, and you will be taken off of my where I want to visit list. So just so you know. That was the Tortured Poets Department Eras tour set. It is very beautiful. It is so exciting. It's so nice having this new album represented. I think originally I had thought that I didn't want it to be represented on the Eras tour because I don't like change. And I wanted to have seen the show the way that it was intended to be shown originally, but now that it's out and now seeing it happen, I am really happy that she did add this to the tour because it's keeping it fresh. I know that there was some chat about people saying that the show was getting a bit stale now, which I don't agree, and literally you only think that because we have access to this show like we've never had before and we didn't have on previous tours. So that's the only reason that you think it's stale, is because you keep seeing the same show because you're online and seeking it out. But yeah, it's keeping it very fresh. I feel very grateful for the amount of work that has gone into this. I am sad that we lost so many songs. I like having Evermore and Folklore together. Personally, I know a lot of people don't like that. Seeing the Champagne Problems piano and the Folklore cabin together is weird to me, but I still like it. I also love, I didn't even talk about this, that all the costumes are different now. I can't tell you, it's all different now. And it's so exciting seeing it. So yeah, I just feel very privileged to be part of this community at this time because truly being a Taylor Swift fan has been the best thing that I have ever done in my life. There's constantly something happening. There's always something to talk about. I love being here and I love having you here with me. So thank you so much for spending today with me. I really appreciate it. I love doing these. I love talking about all this stuff. I'm sure there's stuff that I've missed that I'm going to see in post. I'm just going to I'm probably going to keep talking about this album. There's so much to talk about. So I hope that you're excited to see more of that kind of stuff. But yes, I hope that you stay healthy, that you stay hydrated, and I will see you all next time.